Welcome to AUCDI 101, an introduction to the Australian Core Data for Interoperability, Release 1. I am your host, Kai Lin, the Clinical Design Lead for SPARKed, Australia's FHIR Accelerator. In this video, I will cover what is a Core Data for Interoperability, the what, the why, and the how of the Australian Core Data for Interoperability, its development approach, its contents, its scope, and what's next. So first up, what is a CDI, a Core Data for Interoperability? A Core Data for Interoperability for health is standardized, structured set of data for interoperable health information exchange. It is not specific to any single use case, however, it should support data exchange of core common data that sits across multiple use cases. The US was the first to develop one, with Australia and other countries following suit. Speaking of Australia, we have just published the first release of the Australian Core Data for Interoperability. The Australian Core Data for Interoperability, the AUCDI, describes and defines a set of data groups, each comprising one or more data elements, to form a common data foundation for national interoperable health information exchange in Australia. It incorporates and builds upon existing standards and prior work from national and international programs and initiatives. And is a living artifact that will evolve and grow in future iterations to support additional use cases, adding breadth by including new clinical data groups and depth by expanding with further granular detail. It provides the common data foundations that can be referenced for specific use cases, with data groups being reused and extended as necessary. So why an AUCDI? Australian health IT landscape is currently characterised by isolated health information systems, often confined within single clinics or organisations. There is a fragmentation across primary, acute and tertiary care sectors, and there is often a divide between collection of data for primary clinical use purposes and secondary data use. This fragmentation complicates the capture and reuse of health data. Data captured in one system often cannot be efficiently or accurately reused in another, leading to redundant data entry and potential inconsistencies in electronic health records. This leads to risks to clinical safety and quality of care, and potentially missed opportunities to use the data collected to improve care delivery. It can also mean an increase in the workload on healthcare service delivery, trying to meet both clinical and reporting requirements when it comes to data collection. With AUCDI, we are establishing a national consensus on clinical data requirements as a foundation for digital health to enable the collection, exchange, and reuse of meaningful data for timely and appropriate care. This approach will support standardized clinical decision support and digital health innovation, standardized reporting, AI, and aggregation for research and analysis, for example, population health, health services administration. How can AUCDI be used? AUCDI can be used as a knowledge base for validated clinical data requirements. It also serves as a common data foundation that can be reused in other national data for interoperability use cases, for example, the AU e-requesting data for interoperability. It can also be used as published foundation that technical and non-technical, such as reporting and aggregation, specifications can be developed against. It also provides resources for vendors to not only use as a roadmap as they enhance their existing systems, but to also be able to leverage existing validated data models to start new applications or projects. So how is AUCDI being developed? The AUCDI is being developed in collaboration with the community and is informed by the key data drivers such as clinical recording and documentation, clinical decision support, data reuse, and reporting requirements. In order to support maximum reuse and leveraging previous investment, the data model has been informed by other key local and international initiatives and programs such as previous Australian specifications and international standards. This includes My Health Record specifications, CSIRO's Primary Care Data Quality Foundations, AIHW's Minimum Data Sets, International Patient Summary, the Pan-Canadian Health Data Content Framework, the United States Core Data for Interoperability, the UK's Professional Record Standards Body, HL7 FHIR, and Open Air Archetypes. The AUCDI is deliberately designed to capture requirements from clinicians and non-technical stakeholders, ensuring that the core data for interoperability represents common, well-defined requirements identified from agreed use cases. The AUCDI's initial direction and scope were established through in-person workshops involving clinicians, informaticians, software engineers, and other stakeholders conducted in 2023 and 2024. The structured representation of the AUCDI concepts in the first release has been informed by leveraging Open Air International's archetypes, an established clinical information modelling standard, which have been purposely developed by clinicians and informaticians focusing on ensuring high-quality, structured clinical data that is clinically safe and fit for purpose. AUCDI is currently represented as a document on the Spark website. It contains a range of information about the Spark FHIR Accelerator, details about the AUCDI, including what it is, how it was developed, its relationship to other standards, and the AUCDI library, data library itself. The AUCDI library contains logical representations of the core data essential for interoperability, organized into conceptually specific data groups and presented in a series of tables. A data group is a standalone content specification for a single clinical concept, focusing on the structure of data and the relationships between data elements. Each data group will contain one or more data elements. A data element is an atomic unit of data that has precise meaning or semantics, including a data element name, description, data type, and appropriate constraints. It incorporates codes or value sets from a terminology system where relevant. For example, one of the data groups in the AUCDI is the Adverse Reaction Risk Summary. Example data elements belonging to this data group is the substance name, manifestation, comment, and last updated. The AUCDI represents the logical representations of the data groups as a series of tables and mind maps, with the mind maps showing how the data elements are structured within the data group, and the tables providing detailed information about the data groups and elements. Within the AUCDI document, each data group is presented in a consistent way. The data group context provides metadata about the data group as a whole, its description, purpose, representation, aliases, and considerations for use and misuse. There may also be other information about the data group to provide additional context and discussions held during the development of the AUCDI. Next is a mind map concept representation to show how the data elements included are structured. After that is the information model. This is a tabular representation of the logical model for each of the data elements included. Each data element has a description, occurrence, data type, recommended code system value set, examples, aliases, and considerations. The next section shows how the data groups have been designed to align with the data design principles developed by Spark. The last section is a for future consideration section. This is a description of how Release 1 might evolve towards Release 2 and beyond. Specific considerations may be highlighted, and issues that may have been identified as controversial may require further investigation and discussion. A mind map of a proposed comprehensive data group is considered a potential roadmap for future AUCDI releases, and clinical information system evolution is included. The first release of AUCDI is the foundation on which more comprehensive information models will be built as standards, policies, technical implementations, and user requirements mature and evolve. Key considerations in determining the scope of R1 were to include data that is well understood, commonly used, and well supported by existing clinical systems, to identify incremental change that will create benefits and support broad reuse across multiple use cases, to create a starting block to build upon, avoiding breaking changes in the future as much as possible, and to support clinical safety and best practices. The first release of AUCDI covers 10 data groups: Adverse Reaction Risk Summary, or allergies and intolerances, Problem Diagnosis Summary, Procedure Completed, Vaccination Administration, or immunizations, vital signs, measurements and other biomarkers for chronic disease and preventative health, with an initial scope of cardiovascular risk calculation and diabetes care. Medication use statement, sex and gender, encounter information necessary to provide clinical context, and tobacco smoking summary. You can find the AUCDI R1 document on our website, spark.csiro.au, which has more information about the SPARK program, detailed information about the R1 scope, its drivers, and more. We are now working on the next release of AUCDI. Scoping has begun with looking at the items that have been raised and placed in the backlog during the development of AUCDI R1, considering the outputs of a scoping workshop held earlier and other government and industry priorities. These will be brought to the community to agree on and then work on the development of AUCDI R2. So please come and join us and help shape what AUCDI R2 and future releases will look like. You can follow the QR code to our website, or you can go to spark.csiro.au or send us an email at fhir@csiro.au. Thank you for watching this video. Hope to see you at a SPARK meeting soon. Bye.